I want to welcome you on this talk, which is my first talk on the stage. I want to give you some update on the UAA, because the last 2 years you have not seen an update there. I will concentrate on one specific topic of UAA, and that is the OAuth 2.1, or how to come from OAuth 2, which is a typical term you see, to OAuth 2.1. UAA is part of the foundational infrastructure group. And the last talk, as mentioned, was in 2019, 5 years now, and therefore I thought it's time that UAA comes back to stage, that you get some information about it. But now I have seen you have UAA already on the slides before, so my main thing was that UAA must come on stage back. Yes, I represent here a team, no photos, because we are in security. Here you see the GitHub accounts. Yeah, this is always a joke here. The GitHub accounts of our contributors. So we work in the community model, but it's also a joke that most of us were onboarded via the dojo, and most of us, or all of us, work for big companies like Broadcom or SAP, but we are open for contributions. And don't hesitate if you have something in mind. Like Benjamin, for some years ago, he contributed the GitHub integration. Because I saw him now, you can give him also some applause. Yeah, and therefore, you see here the persons, but I also have to say that, yeah, we have lost some people, and you see them with this star here, and but nevertheless, we are open, and if you want to join our community, first step is join the Slack channel of UAA, or then we can organize some meetings, because we normally arrange, or we meet at Thursday in the evening. So together with Broadcom and SAP, we have some talks about the PRs and issues. So if you create a PR or issue, you can be confident we are talking about it, and we try to bring it in if it is not really something, yeah, what we don't want to have. Some words about me, the background of me. I'm working now more than 20 years in SAP. I realized it, more or half of my life. I mainly work for the security group, or only in the security group, but mainly on identity federation protocols in the former time SAML and OIDC, these terms you often see in these slides. I started as a C++ developer, and I'm now working in the SAP Cloud Identity Services team. That is what you have seen before some slides as the SAP Identity Provider. We call us the SAP Identity Service teams, yeah, and last word is married, and I have 2 teens. Yeah, you know what's the difference to kids. Now we come to the agenda, and the UAA must be introduced, at least some words to it, and then I want to talk about challenges, because the UAA was not in the stage for quite a long time, and therefore it's, yeah, of course, we have some smelling code, some smells, dependency problems, and all of these things. We need to talk about it, and then I will try to describe how we solve. We have not solved everything, but how we solve these things, what is solved already. Yes, and of course, as Outlook, you can get something, what comes next in the next year, because we have also a backlog where we try to bring in new stuff, and the horizon is something which is mainly on my mind, which is not really on our backlog, so to say. So let's start with the UAA. In CF, you may have seen these slides already. If you visited the CF summit, the core of the UAA has not changed, and therefore from a classic, this term is also something which I don't know if I can use it, the classic Cloudfoundry, but in a classic Cloudfoundry, the UAA plays a central role. It mainly stores identities. You know the user identities mainly, but it's also system identities. It stores them, then controls them, and gives access to the CF management, which is the cloud controller. And the cloud controller then, yeah, uses these authorizations to manage the orgs and spaces. You see here also some attributes, which is also typical for our part. Protocols, they are describe the system. We support the LDAP and the SAML and the OIDC. They somehow simply like attributes, but they define the behavior of the entry, how you come into the Cloudfoundry system, how you do the login. For example, you have seen the SSO login before, which is typically or was done via OIDC. But you also see now we have removed some support from our UA with the last major update. Because of these challenges, we will come to them. We have to decline some support, and mentioned is here the SAML IDP support. Does not mean that we have removed SAML, but only the SAML IDP support because of some new streamline what we want to support in future. And two-factor authentication is also something we have removed, or we had to remove because of capacity reasons. Yeah. The cloud controller connectivity is something I want to highlight here also, because you always connect users, but we also allow to connect clients. So this is something which does not really play a role in the past, but hopefully in future, because what UAA can also do is bring systems together, to system-to-system communication, not only user-to-user user propagation. Yes, but of course, I said it, we have some challenges, and these challenges mainly are coming now, and it is what I mentioned already, the deprecations of the used libraries, and these libraries were not only bringing features for us and we cannot jump to another library, they simply, the behavior of the UA, so to say, was defined based on these libraries. And this is the major part where we also have to change or to decide what things need to be removed and how we can change these protocol behaviors or improve protocols so that we in future are independent, more independent from any changes to another library. A social part which I also face or want to bring, I maybe could have here an elephant, but I called it social problem, is of course UA is not part of Currify, and therefore UA has not this visibility what we had in the past, or maybe. And often UA is not visible. We have seen the SSO login. This is mainly maybe the only UI you see in the UA if you do the single sign-on. And the third thing, this is only a personal thing, is maybe it's hard to come to the security group, but what we want to have is also some contributors from the community, and therefore I did this talk. But now we want to talk about the good things, how we can renovate the UA, renovating UA means always, but don't break my existing system. That is what we always, if we bring out releases, then that is of course the first thing. You have brought in a regression, you have stopped my system, I cannot log in anymore, and all these crying things. But we need to do it, and therefore I try to explain what we did. And here is the EOL problem. So the end of license problem is something we faced some years ago, and then we said, yeah, maybe we'll do some project, but there was nothing, and then we decided, okay, we have to start. And we started 2 years ago. We replaced the lower level libraries from Spring. You see the Spring Security JOT, which is simply was deprecated some years ago. And there was also some benefits from replacing these libraries, because now we could jump and support other algorithms for our tokens, higher algorithms, or if you want to have elliptic cores for your UA, you can have it now, but be carefully, because the cloud controller, for example, would not understand elliptic curve algorithm tokens. But a side effect was also to jump to the bouncy castle with his FIPS compliant, but this was all something jumping to the new library, which was bringing some benefit to us. The Spring Security OAuth is here still, because that was a library, we could not really replace it. Therefore, we forked it into the UA and removed all parts we don't need, but that was an example where it was, from my point of view, really not feasible, or from the responsibility what we have to the community, that we remove this library, jump to a new library, because the behavior of the UAA is so CF specific. It's not always standard compliant, and therefore this was simply not possible. So you see now my time is over, but I tried. I try to speed up a bit. The SAML library is still in work. The main work is done by Broadcom colleagues. But our goal is, of course, you see it on the very last slide, to jump to the new Spring security framework and boot, because that is something which hurts the community right now. The last Spring framework version 5 was released last month. For SAP, it's not really a problem because we have a commercial license, so we pay for it, but for the community, it's right now also a problem. And what we did with the OAuth replacement was we renovated also the protocol. And renovating the protocol means, okay, let's see how the others do it or what the standard really complies, so that we also get now more compliant with the Kubernetes one, because UAA in some years ago was not really compatible with Kubernetes because of all these problems. So PXE was something which was missing. The behavior of these login flows with the client secret was not really usable, and Kubernetes once used mutual TLS, and mutual TLS is part of the standard. I painted here in the bubble on the right side about the standard. So from the OAuth 2.1, the main change is the client authentication, which goes away from the standard secret, or what we internally always use, the password for the client, should be removed to something which is key-based. It is the private key job, but of course it's also the mutual TLS. And that should be done because in a large installation we have the problems of the secrets. We have many of these secrets, but storing the secrets can be solved, but you would have to rotate the secrets, and that really hurts, and therefore we need to go away from secret. And the second part is something which was also not really covered in the UAA in the past, is the so-called public client, because public at the end is something which is different from that what UAA supported in the past. Here is some of the list of the client authentication parts, but sometimes there is no possibility to have a client secret. That is typically a single-page web app, JavaScript app, or if you have a real mobile native app, then you don't want to store the secret on your mobile. And the UAA solved it in the past with an empty secret. That is what you do with CF login, but that is not really standard behavior. And the empty secret is again, it's not a secret, but it's something which you can simply omit, because the standard now allows the usage of this public clients, and you now can do with a UAA that what the Kubernetes login typically also does. You come without any secret, you log in via the browser, and then you do the token exchange with this PXE in between, and then you get your tokens as before. We still do not support the public flows for the password, for the CF login part, but that is, you will see on this, what we have on the slide for the next year. So from the prior, what we plan for the next year is, of course, we want to shift to the new SAML library, because Spring Boot 3 is that what we need, not only the community, but also for us, SAP as company, we need this. And the MTLS support was discussed also some years ago, many years, and always newly discussed, but now it will come. That is really on the backlog. And the open discussion is whether we should really support also the public grant types for the CF login. For these things, we need to create, I guess, a RFC, because that would the CF login change, and therefore we have to create here as our RFC. And to make it short, what would be, or as something, if you want to plan to contribute, then I want to give you here some nuggets also where you can think about what UAA should have, in my opinion, is an improvement of the OpenID protocol itself, because of course, if you compare SAML and OpenID, still OpenID has some security problems in between there, and that things are solved with these RFC on the top here. And the very last thing is really not planned, but it will come in the next years, also from our governments. The decentralized authentication is standardized from the OpenID Foundation, And yeah, the dream of mine is, so to say, that we also support decentralized authentication within the UAA, that you can combine the end user also with a company user. That's it.